Aliens mocked our armor until it stopped a plasma shot. Best HFY stories. The invasion began like any other. At least, that's what the alien intelligence believed. They arrived in their sleek, towering ships, their advanced technology promising victory. Earth's defenses had been overwhelmed before, but humanity had always fought back. We had to, there was no choice. This time, however, we had something new, the Titan armor, a project years in the making. The armor was designed to be humanity's last stand, crafted from a rare alloy mined from the deepest parts of Earth's crust. It was stronger than anything the aliens had encountered. We didn't know it yet, but it was about to make history. The first battle took place in the desolate plains of Nebraska. The alien invaders, a brutal race of towering, six-armed warriors called the Drakthar, landed with their plasma cannons and laser weapons. They had already crushed the defenses of smaller cities, and now, they were turning their attention to our military outposts. It wasn't long before they spotted us, soldiers clad in the newly designed Titan armor. At first, they laughed. Flesh creatures in metal suits? One of their commanders sneered through a translator. This will be quick. Their weapons roared to life, sending torrents of energy crashing toward our ranks. The soldiers inside the Titan armor had been trained for this, but we had no idea what would happen next. The armor's thick plating absorbed the first few shots, but the plasma blasts were hot enough to leave scorch marks. We watched as the alien forces advanced, their mocking laughter growing louder. But we stood firm. And then, it happened. A Drakthar commander, a massive beast with blood-red eyes, leveled his plasma cannon at Sergeant Marcus Lee, one of our finest soldiers. The air crackled with the discharge of energy as the plasma bolt shot toward him, a blistering streak of light. In the moments before impact, we all held our breath. This was the moment we would learn if humanity's last-ditch defense could hold. Sergeant Lee, his face hidden behind the reinforced visor of the Titan armor, raised his arm. The plasma bolt slammed into the thick plating of his forearm, and then, something extraordinary happened. The plasma blast, powerful enough to melt through any conventional material, rebounded off the armor. For a split second, there was stunned silence from both sides. Then, with a deafening crack, the Drakthar commander's plasma cannon exploded in his hands, the energy backlash tearing him apart. The force sent shockwaves through the battlefield, throwing the alien troops into disarray. The mocking laughter stopped. "Impossible," a Drakthar officer shouted, eyes wide with disbelief. "Their armor, how?" Sergeant Lee, shaking off the disorientation from the blast's shockwave, opened a calm link to his squad. "Armor's holding," he said, his voice steady. "Get ready, boys, time to give them a taste of humanity." In the following hours, the tide of battle shifted dramatically. The Drakthar, now realizing the true potential of our new armor, began to retreat, their confidence shattered. Their weapons, which had once seemed so fearsome, were no match for the reinforced plating of the Titan armor. Each shot that hit only made us stronger, more determined. We weren't just fighting to survive anymore. We were fighting for our home, for our people, for everything. As the alien forces pulled back, Sergeant Lee sent a final transmission. "Tell the world, we're not just survivors, we're humans, and we fight." The Drakthar never underestimated humanity again, and in the years that followed, the Titan armor became a symbol, not just of our survival, but of our resilience, our ingenuity, and the unbreakable spirit that defines us. The aliens may have mocked us at first, but in the end, it was our armor that mocked their overconfidence. And that plasma shot? It was the last one they ever fired. The aftermath, humanity strikes back. After the Drakthar had been forced to retreat, the news spread like wildfire, across every news outlet, social media, and military comms. The word was clear: humanity had not only survived the invasion, but had repelled it with an unexpected weapon, ourselves. The Titan armor became a symbol of humanity's unyielding spirit, and soon, it wasn't just soldiers wearing it. Scientists, engineers, and civilians began refining the design, enhancing its abilities. What was once a prototype became the backbone of humanity's military forces. The Drakthar, though defeated, were not the only alien threat out there. Their retreat marked the beginning of a much larger galactic war, one that would test the resolve of every nation on Earth. But we had already proven something vital to ourselves: and to the galaxy. We could fight back. The United Earth Defense Forces, UEDF, rapidly expanded, and our new Titan-equipped armies began to mobilize, preparing for the next wave of invaders. We knew the Drakthar wouldn't stay down forever. Their pride had been wounded, and a wounded enemy is often the most dangerous. Then, the second invasion came. This time, it wasn't just Drakthar warships descending upon our skies. They had allied themselves with several other galactic empires, eager to avenge their humiliation. They came with a fleet of overwhelming numbers, advanced tech, and devastating weaponry. A coalition designed to wipe out humanity once and for all. But the Drakthar made one critical mistake. They had underestimated our unity. When the ships of the alien coalition broke through the outer defenses and entered Earth's orbit, they found something unexpected. The sky above our cities was filled with human warships, sleek but heavily reinforced, and far more numerous than anyone had expected. Each ship, manned by soldiers clad in Titan armor, opened fire with newly developed railguns and plasma cannons of their own. The Drakthar quickly realized that they hadn't just fought a few soldiers, they had awoken a sleeping giant. On the ground, our forces moved in quickly. The Titan armor was now mass-produced, and every soldier was a living juggernaut, a relentless force capable of withstanding the worst the galaxy had to offer. We weren't just defending our homes anymore, we were on the offensive. One of the first major engagements took place near the ruins of New York City, where Drakthar soldiers attempted to breach the heavily fortified UEDF base. They marched forward, expecting the same easy victory they'd enjoyed in smaller conflicts across the galaxy. But they were met with a different kind of resistance. Lieutenant Sarah Tatum, a rising star in the UEDF, stood at the front of her squad, her voice firm over the comms. "We've held our ground before," she said, "and we'll do it again. For Earth." The enemy forces advanced, only to be greeted by the roar of our railguns and the deadly precision of Titan-clad soldiers. The first wave of alien soldiers was decimated within minutes. But it wasn't just the power of the weapons that drove the Drakthar back, it was the relentless drive of the humans inside those suits. Lieutenant Tatum led the charge, her Titan armor moving like a force of nature. Plasma shots from the aliens bounced off her suit's reinforced plating as she cut through their ranks with precision, each step an echo of humanity's defiance. It didn't matter how advanced the aliens were, how much more powerful their weapons seemed, our armor held, and we fought with a strength they couldn't comprehend. When the Drakthar forces attempted to regroup, they found that Earth's military had already made its way behind their lines. We had not only repelled them, we had pushed them back. After weeks of fierce battles, the coalition forces began to crumble. The Drakthar and their allies didn't expect the kind of strategy we deployed. Human ingenuity, combined with the might of the Titan armor, was an unstoppable force. Our forces weren't just fighting for survival anymore, they were fighting to make a statement. Humanity would not kneel. And as the final alien ship turned tail and retreated into the stars, the message was loud and clear to the entire galaxy: never again would Earth be the easy target. As we watched the alien fleet scatter into the distance, humanity took a collective breath. The battle wasn't over, but the tide had turned. The galaxy had learned a harsh truth: when you face humanity, you face more than just people in armor. You face a species that refuses to be anything less than victorious. And for the first time in centuries, the galaxy understood what the ancient phrase meant: humanity first. But this was just the beginning. The war was far from over, and the galaxy was about to learn what it truly meant to face the full might of humanity. The Drakthar had mocked us once, but we had shown them what it meant to challenge Earth, and we would never stop fighting until every threat to our planet had been wiped from existence. The Galactic Reckoning, humanity's rise. The aftermath of the second invasion was nothing short of a transformation for humanity. Earth had stood defiant against one of the most formidable coalitions the galaxy had ever seen. But in the aftermath, a new reality began to dawn on us. The galaxy wasn't just a place of distant stars and unknown civilizations, it was a vast network of rival empires, and many of them had taken note of our victory. Our next challenge wasn't going to come from a single invader or a ragtag group of alien factions. The war we had fought to survive was only the beginning of something far larger. We weren't simply dealing with the Drakthar anymore. We were now at the center of a galactic conflict, and the cosmos had a new player to reckon with: humanity. It began with whispers, messages intercepted from alien factions, speaking in tones of disbelief and fear. The once ruthless alien empires had watched us fight with the ferocity of a species determined to defend its existence. And now, they were beginning to question the very balance of power they had taken for granted. The first to reach out were the Eriks, a species of calculating merchants and tacticians who held sway over much of the Outer Rim. They sent us a diplomatic envoy, but their message wasn't one of peace, it was a warning. We offer no aggression, humans. The Eric's ambassador's voice crackled through our communications. But be mindful, for every action has a consequence. Your species has demonstrated a level of resistance we have not seen before. You must understand that the galaxy does not take kindly to those who disrupt its order. The tone was clear, our survival, our strength, had made us a target, but we weren't going to be intimidated. General Ryan Holt, leader of the UEDF's Central Command, responded swiftly, his voice resolute, we don't seek conflict, Eriks. But know this, should any force come to Earth with the intent of conquering us, we will make sure they remember who they're dealing with, and we will never, ever, back down. The Eric's ambassador's silence lasted a long time before he spoke again. You will see soon enough, human, the galaxy has its ways. Before he left one final warning. Remember this, Earth, you are not alone, and there are far worse things out here than the Drakthar. And then, the Eriks withdrew, but their message lingered in the air like a shadow. The truth became undeniable, the galaxy's denizens had been watching Earth. They had been waiting for us to either crumble or fade into the history of unremarkable species. What they hadn't expected, however, was for humanity to rise up, stronger than ever before. And now, we were being pulled into something far larger than we had anticipated. As Earth began to rebuild, something unprecedented was happening. The Titan armor, once a symbol of humanity's military strength, was now becoming something more. It was a beacon, something that represented humanity's will to survive, to adapt, to fight for its place in the stars. More and more nations began to adapt the technology, creating their own versions of the Titan armor. People once separated by borders and ideologies were now united under a single banner, the survival and protection of Earth. The UEDF, now an international force, started forging alliances with other human colonies and even some sympathetic alien races. But with every new ally came a new enemy. For every diplomat that entered Earth's atmosphere to speak of peace, a fleet of warships followed closely behind. The galaxy had begun to recognize Earth not just as a fledgling species, but as a power that could change the entire balance of the universe. But as tensions rose, so too did humanity's resolve, and the greatest testament to this newfound power came in the form of our greatest weapon, the Guardian Fleet. The fleet, born from the fusion of Earth's best military minds and the technology scavenged from the wreckage of alien invaders, was a masterpiece of engineering. Massive warships bristling with Titan armor units, advanced energy cannons, and planet-destroying weapons. The Guardian Fleet was humanity's message to the galaxy: we would not be subjugated, we would not be erased. And then, just when the galaxy thought humanity was starting to stabilize, the greatest test arrived. The Jaera Imperium, a brutal empire that had once conquered entire star systems with ease, declared war on Earth. It was the Jaera who had sent the Drakthar to Earth in the first place, underestimating us as nothing more than a primitive species. Now, they had come to finish what they started. In the depths of the Jaera's cold, calculating command center, the Emperor issued the order to launch the invasion. Prepare the fleet. We end this now. Destroy Earth, and make it an example. But they had once again underestimated us. The Jaera's fleet was vast, 1,000 ships strong, but when they arrived in Earth's orbit, they found the Guardian Fleet waiting for them. The battle that followed would go down in history as the turning point in humanity's galactic rise. The Jaera thought their advanced weapons could tear through our defenses, and for a moment, it seemed they might be right. Their ships unleashed devastating energy blasts, each one powerful enough to level entire cities. But the Titan armor withstood the barrage. The Guardian Fleet's warships fought back, their weapons more than a match for the Jaera's superior firepower. The tide of battle turned when humanity unleashed its final weapon, the Eclipse Cannon, a colossal energy weapon designed to harness the power of Earth's sun itself. With a single shot, the Eclipse Cannon tore through the heart of the Jaera fleet, decimating their command ship and sending their remaining forces scattering. The message to the galaxy was clear: humanity was not to be underestimated. The HFY retreat, and with their defeat, Earth became the new power in the galaxy. Our resistance, our ingenuity, and our relentless fight for survival had earned us respect, and perhaps, something more, an unshakable place in the stars. The galaxy would never be the same, and humanity was ready to lead. We had been mocked, we had been underestimated, but now, we had proved ourselves, not just as survivors, but as conquerors, ready to defend our home and our people against anything the galaxy could throw at us. Earth was no longer a small, insignificant world, it was the heart of something far greater. And as the stars watched us rise, they knew the truth. Humanity had arrived. And we weren't going anywhere. The dawn of the galactic age, humanity's new horizon. In the wake of the HFY Imperium's defeat, Earth found itself standing at the crossroads of an entirely new era. No longer were we the underdogs of the galaxy, no longer was Earth just a vast expanse of space. We had become the most powerful force in the universe, respected and feared by countless alien species. The victories of the Drakthar and HFY invasions had not just cemented our place, they had made us a force to be reckoned with. But as humanity's prominence grew, so did the complexities of intergalactic politics. With power came responsibility, and enemies that were far more subtle than the brute force invasions we had fought off. The galaxy wasn't just a series of star systems, it was a political chessboard, and Earth was now a king piece, poised to influence the game. The Council of Empires. Following our victory, a new council was formed, a gathering of the most powerful galactic empires, each vying for control, resources, and influence. But unlike the old political structures, Earth was no longer a mere participant in these discussions. We had earned a seat at the table, one that even the most powerful empires dared not challenge. The Council of Empires was a high-stakes arena, where diplomacy, power, and treachery collided. Some species, such as the Eriks, initially sought to intimidate us into submission, testing our resolve in subtle ways. They tried to undermine our influence through economic sabotage, but humanity responded with unparalleled ingenuity, creating new technologies and trade agreements that not only stabilized our economy but enriched our allies as well. At the same time, other empires, like the Clon Dominion, a fiercely militaristic race, sought to test our military might. But humanity's presence at the council was a reminder that we had the power to defend ourselves. The Titan armor, along with the newly developed Guardian fleet, was now a deterrent to anyone thinking of crossing us. Earth wasn't just about to survive, we were about to thrive. Yet, there were still dark clouds on the horizon. The shadow of the Syndicate. Not all alien races saw humanity's rise with goodwill. Far from it. A shadowy organization known as the Syndicate began to emerge in the underbelly of the galaxy, formed by a coalition of pirate factions, mercenaries, and rogue empires. The Syndicate was built on the principle that the chaos of war, piracy, and subversion was more profitable than peace. They began making moves to destabilize the fragile peace that Earth and the other empires had worked so hard to create. They launched covert strikes against human colonies and intercepted trade routes, hoping to provoke an intergalactic war and weaken our influence. They knew that humanity's unity was both our greatest strength and our greatest vulnerability. If they could fracture us from within, they might just have a chance at taking us down. But humanity was smarter than that. As the Syndicate's attacks grew bolder, the UEDF expanded its influence in the most unexpected way: diplomacy. Recognizing that war alone wouldn't solve everything, General Holt began forging alliances with neutral and previously hostile alien factions, offering them protection in exchange for cooperation. By forming a web of economic, military, and political alliances, Earth soon found itself as the leader of a new coalition, a united front that could stand against any threat. The Syndicate's actions only fueled our resolve, but there was a more dangerous threat lurking beneath the surface: the first ones. The first ones, the ancient and the terrifying. In the deepest reaches of space, far beyond the known borders of the galaxy, there existed ancient civilizations, the first ones. These were the oldest empires in the galaxy, ancient species who had witnessed the rise and fall of countless star systems, and who had once ruled the galaxy with iron fists. Their power was far beyond anything the galaxy had ever known. and their technologies were far superior to our own. For millennia, the first ones had remained hidden, watching the younger civilizations grow and clash, content in their isolation. But now, with Earth's newfound prominence, they had begun to stir. They saw humanity's rise as a direct challenge to their ancient dominion. In their eyes, we were an upstart race, one that threatened the balance they had carefully crafted for eons. The first ones sent a single message to Earth, a warning. You are not ready, humans. You have no idea what you've awakened. The galaxy does not belong to you. It was clear, they intended to stop us before we could become an even greater power. Humanity's response, the heart of the UEDF. General Holt's voice, steady and resolute, rang out across the newly constructed command center, where humanity's finest gathered for a council of their own. We've been underestimated from the start, but we've proven time and time again that we are capable of far more than anyone ever thought. The first ones believe they can intimidate us, but they forget one fundamental truth about humanity: we adapt. The UEDF had no illusions about the first ones. Their technology was far more advanced, their fleets far more powerful, but we had something that they didn't: a burning, unshakable drive to survive, to innovate, and to protect our people. And that was something even the oldest civilizations couldn't understand. We had already fought off invaders from within our own galaxy. Now, the time had come to face the first ones head-on. But this wasn't going to be a battle of brute force, it was going to be a battle of minds. Humanity turned to its greatest asset, innovation. Scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to reverse engineer the alien technology we had acquired. From the Jaera's warships to the Draktar's plasma weapons, with each piece of tech we captured, we adapted it, improving it, making it our own. We couldn't match the first ones in raw power, not yet. But we could outthink them, and that was exactly what we did. The Aegis Initiative was born, a top-secret project designed to develop the next evolution of Titan armor and new methods of combating advanced alien fleets. Using technology from the Syndicate's sabotaged ships, the initiative developed adaptive shielding that could absorb and reflect energy, quantum-based weapons that destabilized enemy ships at the atomic level, and advanced AI-controlled fleet coordination that gave human fleets a degree of precision and tactical advantage never before seen. The first strike, Earth versus the first ones. The inevitable confrontation came when the first ones' armada arrived in the Sol system. They were colossal, their ships dwarfing anything humanity had ever seen, their weaponry more than enough to wipe out entire fleets in seconds, but they had miscalculated. As the first ones launched their initial assault, the Aegis fleet, powered by the latest advancements in Titan armor technology, met them head-on, surprising the ancient invaders with tactics no one, not even the most advanced races in the galaxy, had expected. Humanity wasn't just fighting for survival anymore. We were fighting for our place in the galaxy, fighting to prove that our species, in all its fragility and tenacity, had earned its right to stand among the stars. And as the battle raged across the skies above Earth, the galaxy knew something important had changed. The age of the first ones was coming to an end. The age of humanity had just begun. We weren't just surviving anymore. We were winning. The reckoning of the first ones, humanity's ultimate stand. The first ones had underestimated humanity, and now they would face the consequences. The battle above Earth was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The first ones' ships were monumental, their weapons capable of disintegrating entire fleets with a single strike. Their fleet was a vast, incomprehensible force, an ancient power that had reigned over the stars for eons. But humanity, with its adaptability and innovation, stood firm. The Aegis fleet, powered by the latest advancements in Titan armor and enhanced by newly developed quantum-based weaponry, was ready. From the moment the first ones arrived, it was clear that the scales had shifted. As their ships entered Earth's orbit, their massive dreadnoughts fired first, sending shockwaves across the atmosphere. Energy blasts slammed into Earth's defenses, obliterating entire continents of alien ships with each impact. The sky above turned into a firestorm as the first ones launched their attack. But humanity had prepared for this moment. The Aegis fleet, a new dawn of warfare. The Aegis fleet, unlike anything the galaxy had seen, was humanity's response to the terrifying power of the first ones. The ships were equipped with quantum disruptors, capable of destabilizing the hyper-advanced shields and weapons of the first one's fleet. But it wasn't just the technology that made the difference, it was humanity's tactics. General Holt, overseeing the battle from Earth's Central Command, had always known that the key to defeating the first ones wasn't brute strength, but strategic maneuvering. With the help of advanced AI-driven algorithms and the ingenuity of human minds, the Aegis fleet began to operate as one cohesive unit, executing tactical moves with precision. The Titan armor soldiers, now embedded within the warships as elite shock troops, launched their attacks with the strength of entire battalions, disembarking onto enemy vessels and engaging in hand-to-hand combat on the surface of the colossal ships. Humanity's fleet responded with such speed and unpredictability that even the ancient First Ones were forced to recalibrate. Their massive, lumbering ships weren't suited to the agile, ever-changing tactics of human warfare. The Aegis ships darted in and out of the chaos, using their quantum shielding to deflect incoming energy blasts and sending devastating counterattacks into the heart of the First Ones' ships. But the First Ones were not easily deterred. They launched a devastating counterattack, a weapon that could warp space itself, a pulse so powerful that it threatened to tear apart the fabric of reality. The shockwave raced toward Earth at light speed. The desperate gamble, humanity's last weapon. As the pulse neared, there was no time to flee, no time to build another defense. Humanity's final hope lay in the one weapon that had been kept hidden, a desperate measure never before used, the Solstice Cannon. The Solstice Cannon was a creation that had been in development for years, a weapon capable of harnessing the energy of the sun itself. With its unimaginable power, it could rival the destructive might of the First One's weapon, and perhaps even surpass it. But its use came with an enormous cost. It required the full energy of Earth's sun to power, and if miscalculated, it could destroy the entire planet. General Holt knew that launching the Solstice Cannon was a gamble, a chance that could either save humanity or annihilate it entirely. Initiating the Solstice Cannon, he ordered, his voice grim, "Give it everything we've got. We only have one shot." The Solstice Cannon activated, drawing the full might of the sun's energy into a single concentrated beam. The cannon, a gleaming structure located deep within Earth's orbit, flared with a light so bright that it eclipsed the very sun itself. A beam of pure, concentrated solar energy shot out toward the First One's pulse, and for a moment, the universe seemed to hold its breath. The two forces collided. For a split second, time itself seemed to slow as the shockwave of the pulse and the Solstice Cannon's beam locked in a titanic struggle, their energies clashing like two galaxies colliding. The massive explosion of energy was so intense that it sent ripples through space itself. Stars in nearby systems flickered as if the fabric of reality itself had been shaken. When the blinding light faded, the First One's pulse was gone, dissipated by the Solstice Cannon's counterforce. And their fleet? The remnants of it, scorched and splintered, were scattered across the cosmos, a shadow of its former glory. The First Ones surrender. The First Ones had been defeated, not by brute strength, but by the indomitable will of humanity. It wasn't just our technology or tactics that had won the day. It was our ingenuity, our capacity for boldness in the face of certain doom, and the unshakable belief that we would not, could not, be beaten. In the aftermath, the First One's survivors sent a message to Earth, an unexpected one. "We were wrong," their envoy stated, their voice trembling with centuries of ancient pride. "We had believed you to be nothing more than children in the universe, unworthy of standing in the light of the stars. But now, we know better. You are a force that will reshape this galaxy. We offer no more war. We recognize your strength." And so, the First Ones, the ancient empire that had once ruled the stars, withdrew into the far reaches of the galaxy, leaving humanity to chart its own path forward. The galaxy, for the first time in eons, was faced with a new reality. Earth was no longer a fledgling species on the fringes of existence. We were now the dominant power in the universe, not just in terms of strength, but in vision, ambition, and unity. A new era. With the First Ones defeated, the Syndicate in disarray, and rival empires finally acknowledging Earth's power, humanity was free to turn its focus inward. The era of war had not come to an end, but we had won the greatest battle of all, the battle for the future. Humanity stood at the precipice of a new golden age, one where we were no longer the hunted, but the hunters. Earth was now a beacon of hope in the galaxy, its strength, resilience, and ingenuity inspiring new alliances, new cultures, and new civilizations. The future, once uncertain, now glittered with the possibilities of a brighter tomorrow. And as humanity looked out into the stars, we knew one thing above all else: this was only the beginning. The galaxy was ours, and we would fight for it, together. The rise of the Galactic Coalition, humanity's vision for the future. The defeat of the first ones had reverberated across the galaxy, echoing through the corridors of power and influencing the hearts and minds of countless species. Humanity, once a small, isolated world on the outskirts of the galaxy, was now the beacon of hope and strength for civilizations far and wide. Earth had emerged victorious not only in battle but also in its vision for the future of the galaxy. It was clear, humanity's rise wasn't a mere accident, but a turning point in galactic history. In the wake of the battle with the first ones, Earth stood at the center of a shifting galaxy. Empires and races that had once dismissed us as insignificant now recognized the undeniable truth: Earth had changed the rules of the game. We were no longer just survivors of an invasion, we had become the architects of a new era, one built on collaboration, progress, and unity. The Galactic Coalition, a new power. In the aftermath of the first one's retreat, General Holt convened a historic summit, bringing together representatives from the most powerful and influential species in the galaxy. The purpose was clear: to form a new alliance that would ensure peace and stability in a galaxy that had long been torn apart by war and conquest. The newly formed Galactic Coalition was born, with Earth at its center. The coalition was not a traditional empire, nor was it a mere trade alliance. It was a framework for cooperation, where diplomacy, mutual respect, and shared interests were prioritized over conquest. The guiding principle was simple: strength through unity. The warlord empires, the peaceful republics, and the war-torn factions of the galaxy now stood side by side, united under one common cause: to build a future where no species would live in fear of domination or destruction. The first order of business was to ensure the stability of the galaxy and prevent future conflicts. Earth's role was pivotal. With the backing of the Aegis fleet, now the most advanced and powerful military force in the galaxy, humanity served as the peacekeepers, ensuring that the coalition's ideals were upheld. Earth was no longer just a defensive power, we were the leaders of a galaxy-wide movement for peace. But peace wasn't just about diplomacy and treaties, it required a delicate balance of power. And humanity had learned the hard way that there would always be factions that sought to disrupt that peace. The threat of the Zircon. No sooner had the coalition been established than a new threat arose from the darkest corners of the galaxy. The Zircon, a mysterious and deadly alien race, had begun to stir. They were a race of technologically advanced beings who had remained hidden for millennia, watching the rise and fall of empires from the shadows. Little was known about them, except that they were ruthless and highly skilled in covert warfare. The Zircon made their presence known with a series of devastating attacks on coalition worlds at the edge of known space. Their ships appeared out of nowhere, launching precise strikes that crippled entire colonies in mere hours. Their technology was unlike anything the galaxy had seen, shrouded in cloaking devices that made them nearly impossible to detect, and weapons capable of disabling entire fleets with a single shot. The galaxy was plunged into panic as the Zircon's attacks escalated. No one knew who they were, what they wanted, or how to stop them. The coalition's member species, although united in their commitment to peace, had no answer for an enemy so elusive and deadly. Humanity's role, however, had become even clearer. The galaxy needed a force capable of defending the coalition from this new threat, and the UEDF, already the most formidable military force in the galaxy, stepped forward once more. Humanity's resolve, the vanguard of the coalition. The UEDF, with its combination of Titan armor soldiers, advanced warships, and unparalleled adaptability, became the first line of defense against the Zircon. General Holt and his command staff understood the gravity of the situation. This wasn't just about military might. It was about intelligence, strategy, and the will to survive. Humanity's ingenuity, once again, would be tested to its limits. A new initiative was launched, Project Vanguard. This operation sought to unravel the mysteries of the Zircon, to understand their technology, their tactics, and their motivations. Humanity's greatest minds were put to the task, reverse engineering the technology taken from the Zircon's attacks and seeking any clues that might explain their origins. The first breakthrough came when a captured Zircon vessel was discovered, damaged, but still functional. The UEDF scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to decode its systems, eventually unlocking the key to understanding their cloaking technology. The Zircon ships were not invisible in the traditional sense. Rather, they existed in a state of quantum entanglement, making them detectable only under very specific conditions. With this knowledge, the coalition developed a countermeasure, quantum sensors capable of detecting the subtle shifts in spacetime caused by the Zircon's cloaking devices. It was a breakthrough that would shift the tide of war. The Great Hunt, a galaxy at war. With the new technology in hand, the UEDF and the Galactic Coalition launched a series of counterattacks against the Zircon. The Zircon, once thought unbeatable, now found themselves on the defensive as the coalition forces, led by humanity's military might, began to hunt them down. The once quiet, enigmatic race now found themselves the hunted, their fleets retreating as the galaxy's new united front pushed them further and further back. The war against the Zircon was brutal and long, with each skirmish revealing more about their tactics and their technology. Humanity's role as the vanguard of the coalition was undeniable, as the UEDF led the charge, adapting to the Zircon's every move and exploiting their weaknesses. But the war also revealed something more troubling. The Zircon were not a single race, but a coalition of various factions united by a single goal, galactic domination. As the coalition pushed deeper into their territory, it became clear that the Zircon were just one piece of a much larger puzzle, and that puzzle had implications that could threaten the very future of the galaxy. The dawn of a new hope. After years of fierce fighting, the Zircon were driven back into the dark corners of space, their once unstoppable force shattered by humanity's unyielding spirit. The Galactic Coalition emerged victorious, but the war had come at a great cost. Countless lives were lost, worlds were devastated, and the future of the galaxy remained uncertain. But humanity, once again, had shown that when faced with adversity, we rise to the challenge. We had not only defended ourselves but had become the leaders of the galaxy, guiding the coalition toward a new era of cooperation, exploration, and unity. With the Zircon threat quelled, humanity now turned its attention toward the stars. The future was vast, and the possibilities endless. The Galactic Coalition, under Earth's guidance, began to explore new frontiers, seeking out new worlds, new technologies, and new allies. The war had been a trial, but it had also been a proving ground. Humanity had shown the galaxy that we were no longer a species on the fringe, we were the architects of a new age. The dawn of the galactic age had arrived, and humanity was at the helm, ready to shape the future of the galaxy. The stars were ours to explore, and we would never stop reaching for them.